This is the Town and Country Pickering, and if you're after a big 5 kilowatt stove, this really takes it to the extreme. Hi, I'm Gabriel. My family have always done stoves. We've had the biggest stove companies and the smallest. I've been the warehouseman, the delivery boy, the fitter, the salesman, the managing director, and now I'm
match retailer.
Town and Country only make 2 wood-burning stoves now. They make other multi-fuel, but this is the big one, the Pickering, and they make a smaller brother, which is the same stove, but just the smaller version, called the Allendale. They're all made in Britain, in, would you believe it, Pickering. They're really tough, high-end, high-quality stoves. They've got 3 baffle plates to essentially to go for really high efficiency, but it does make it a little harder to light. Oh, and they also only have top outlets. Okay, let's light it. It's a big old beast, so it needs quite a bit of fuel. It also, particularly when starting up, can smoke out a bit. So you want to put in enough fuel so that you don't have to return.
Just one firelighter?
Yeah, 1 firelighter.
Brilliant.
Well, I get my firelighters from the shop down here, and so now I only need 1. I only need 1 match as well, for the same reason. I used to use 2. Leave the door just ajar and the vent to the left. Normally they're to the right open, but to the left fully open. All up to temperature in 1/4 hour, 20 minutes. At the start there was some smoke coming out of the stove. This chimney doesn't draw perfectly, but this stove does have 3 baffle plates, so it is one you have to coax into life. This stove has been tested as high as around 82% efficiency. High efficiency stoves like that often struggle with misting on the glass. They don't have a problem with going black, and actually I've run this stove overnight, come down in the morning and it's as clean as that, so no issues with that. But misting on the glass is a common problem, but this hasn't even suffered with that, so it's really very clean. It's obviously also eco-design, DEFRA approved. The DEFRA kit can also be removed, which is really helpful if you live in more rural areas and want to run it for longer periods. But this stove is a 9 out of 10 for cleanness. It's performed really well. This stove does unfortunately like to smoke out a bit. It's got 3 baffle plates for high performance, but it does spill into the room a bit. The handle is, if you watch my other sort of intro video, you'll know that I was struggling with it. I've adjusted it and it's not sort of like got a beautiful clunk, but it's good enough. It was obviously just over tightened, and you know, I can do it. It works, does its job reasonably well. I do quite like that they've etched Town and Country into the handle. It's just a nice detail. The main air control has this sort of decorative music note which you could hang up, which is quite cool. And you control the stove like this, so fully over to the left to go full power, and this is with the DEFRA kit fitted. We can close it right down without the DEFRA kit, so if you remove it you can basically put it out, so controllability wise it's excellent. This does get hot, so you do need this sort of note thing, and although it looks cool on a wall, it's a little sort of impractical to have around and use as the tool for your stove. So I don't quite get that, but they do make quite a trick electronic control for this, so you can get a remote and literally control your stove from a remote. I think with that fitted, from a controllability point of view, this is almost a 10. The handle's not perfect, but it's good enough, and with that remote I think it's basically a 10. As it is, it's more sort of 8 to 9. We test fuel economy by getting the stove up to operating temperature and then seeing how long a single net of kiln-dried logs can maintain it at operating temperature. During my testing, this ran for 8 to 10 hours, so performed really well there. Could run overnight, come down in the morning, it's still clean, open the vent, bit of kindling on it, off it goes again. You can light it up on a Sunday afternoon, go out for the afternoon for a walk, turn this thing down, come back, it's all still warm, it's all still going. Performed really well. It's an 8 out of 10. This stove isn't perfect. The air control getting hot and the sort of music note controller is alright, and same with the main handle. It doesn't get hot, and it genuinely is probably the best at not getting hot that I've ever used. It's cool to touch even with the stove at full temperature, but the feel of it's just a bit meh. I also find that it spills ash into the room a bit too much. They all do a little bit, but this is a bit much. It spills smoke into the room, which is a bit much as well. And this steel door, it's strong. I don't think it's going to break, but it's just not great because it harbours loads of ash, and every time you open the door it's dropping more, and because of where the main glass clips are held, I just think all of that's going to age a bit quicker. However, from a function point of view, there is a difference when you're operating a high performance stove. It isn't necessarily obvious from the efficiency rating, and it's quite hard to get over in a review. The only way I can think is to say I feel like this, from a performance point of view, might be in my top 5. It's very clean, very competent, tough, and whilst I've been using it, running it all day, overnight, it has reminded me of the best stoves I've tested. If you're looking for a big 5 kilowatt stove that's really excellent at its job, tough, controllable, fuel efficient, smart looking, then go and see a shop, open the door, get a feel for it. If it works for you, then buy it, because from a function point of view, it really is excellent.